Can you hear me?
Please. Hello, Gikang'ah.
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you now. We are now live, so I can hear you. It's okay.
Okay.
Yes. Hello, viewers. We are sorry we are 12 minutes late, and it's nice to come to you. We had some technical issues, and but we have to keep doing this thing and keep knowing. Sorry, Reverend Gikang'ah, your mic. Okay, so that's fine. So we were trying to there was a bit of a hitch, but we are here. I pray that you're well, that you've had a good week, all of you. And we meet again today on Before and After I Say I Do Show to talk about real things, real journeys. And as we've said before, that this month we are dealing with, this week, we are dealing with difficult journeys that people go through in marriage after they say I do. And so today, we discuss the reality of parenting a child or children with special needs. And we have two gentlemen with us, two guests who are here with us. About that. Yeah, so this week and this evening, we are going to discuss the reality of parenting. And we have two gentlemen, as I said, who are going to come to us to just share their journeys. It's a journey they have been through together as a family, and they came to represent their families and their children and share with us the journey. So I want to tell my panelists, starting with Alex, to just say hello to the viewers. Alex, please.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alex. And we have Reverend James Gikang'ah with us. Please, Reverend Pastor James, say hello to the viewers.
Hello, viewers. Welcome to the show.
Yes,
I'm
thank you.
To be here today.
Thank you very much. And thank you for even being able to come and be a part of us today. And I'm your host, Pauline Gikang'ah. It's a joy to be here. And so we dive in to our topic. It's a sensitive topic. It is a journey that no one applies to go through. And that's why we call them a difficult journey. But then even it being difficult, there are people who go through it. And and that's why I said each one of us today will have something they'll go with. I could have a sister, I could have a cousin, I could have a friend. And at times we really don't know. How are we going to work with families, with children with special needs? So all that is going to be unfolded together through our guests this evening. And I just want to ask Pastor James, before you ever had children, and before you got married, what had you ever visualized? Had you ever thought about, come across families with special needs, or had it ever crossed your mind that it could happen to you?
Thank you so much. Yes, I had come across a family with challenged children or disability. Basically, through my ministry, that time I was in ministry. So I would visit homes that have disabled children or challenged children. One or two of members of the church that I was then had those kind of children. But basically, you as a person, it never occurred to me I would be blessed with one or two of them. It's where, you assume that these problems or these challenges belong to certain class of people or certain families or certain people, and you are immune to it until it happens.
Wow, thank you for that, Pastor Gikang'ah. Over to you, Alex. Had you ever come across families with special needs? Had you ever thought about a special needs child? How was it for you before even you got married?
I think for me, similar background. I'd not thought about it in depth, So So I think I'd come across some kids or families, but it was not something which really stood out or made me reflect a lot, because it's not something you imagine that you'll go through. So if I even try and recall, I mean, it becomes almost hard to recall before and after any special kids I met before I got one. But after I got one, I think I can remember so many, or it becomes now a point of reference. Because now it is part of your story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe Alex, you can continue and just maybe tell us about when did you learn about your child's condition, and maybe what is the condition at what point in your life?
Okay, for us, we have a daughter. She's called Malaika. She's 8 years old now, and she has cerebral palsy condition, which basically is caused by breathing difficulties during birth or lack of oxygen to the brain during or before birth. And so we had a labored birth, or the mom had a labored birth, and but at that point we didn't know what was the effect. And after birth, she was put in the incubator for a number of days. So we thought it was just the normal challenges of birth. And after about 2 weeks, we were at home raising the baby. So we continued with life as normal, happy first-time parents, until at about 6 months, when you are doing the postnatal clinics. That's when the nurse noticed some milestones were delayed, and she asked us to go and see a doctor. So when the doctor did some further tests, that's when now we got the first form of diagnosis that our child had cerebral palsy at about 6 months.
So that was at 6 months.
Yes.
So was this your first child, your second?
This was the first child. We have a second born. He's 5 years. It's called Asante. So this was the first child. A lot of CP cases are usually the first baby.
Yes. Okay, Alex. So at 6 months is when the diagnosis, the first diagnosis that was done.
Yes.
Okay, we'll carry on with that. Maybe James, take us through. At what point did you know that your child was it the firstborn, was it the secondborn?
We for us, we discovered when they began going to school, but before then, from birth, we had a very challenging birth pregnancy process, which was in and out of the hospital, and with a lot of care. Then, as after the delivery, it was put on the incubator for 4 weeks. So basically, at first it was jaundice. Then now it was we just normal things that you are told these are normal challenges. And when we left hospital, we just went home, and the growth took place kama kawaida. Just to discover later that when they began talking, there was a bit of delay in speaking and very hyperactive. So when now they began going to school, then we discovered the boys were somehow dyslexia, but we didn't know what was it first. So it's through after going to government testing institutions. And then doctors, in fact, as in the process of bringing them up before the school also, we had a number of visits to the hospital because of terms where we're talking about they would go like collapsing or fainting, which was the problem. Basically, that was the normal. It sounded normal, but basically when we started going to school, that's when we discovered there was a challenge.
So James, you're talking about when they went. So are you saying that both your children had a issue?
Yes, both the two boys. I have two. God has blessed us with two boys. The family, And both of them are diagnosed with dyslexia, which is a reading disability or disorder. Just that affects them in terms of spelling, reading, writing, or even speaking, and also it also affects their visual to be able to see different letters. Where they mix letters, like for instance, when you see N, to them it may be U, or where you see W, it appears like M. Or when they see B, it's like D. Or S is like 5, and 5 like S. Now that is that kind of, and where, like for instance, like 6 might be appear like 9, and 9 might appear like 6. That's the challenge they have.
Okay, Reverend James, we'll get back to you. So 6 months you're here, you have been told. Take us through after that. So after 6 months, yes, Alex?
Yeah, so after the initial diagnosis, of course, now is to start finding out, what is this cerebral palsy. So the first thing we knew is that it affects intellectual growth. It affects coordination of the muscles. So, and the main intervention is basically physiotherapy. And generally, what we were learning at that point is that it's probably a lifelong condition. It has no cure. So, but the baby was quite young, so we started therapy immediately, and we were quite optimistic that she will outgrow it, because we felt that it's maybe just a childhood thing. As she'll gain some functionality, she might not recover fully, but probably she'll be able to walk and talk and at some point. So we started doing therapy at 6 months, daily therapy at the hospital, and then later now we had to start doing therapy at home, because now we exhausted the medical cover, and the baby still needed therapy. So now that is how I would say the journey began. Yes.
So what else did you realize about? There was what the doctor said. What is it that you as a family realized was different?
I think at that point, that's when once the diagnosis came through, that's when we realized, there was a bit of delayed milestones, like sitting up. She couldn't sit up by herself, so she had to be supported. I think that was the main one, which we noted as she grew. Then other delays started becoming more and more obvious. Like she couldn't stand when other kids her age were standing. She couldn't walk or talk, among other things. She had to be fed. Up to now, she still has to be fed. She can't feed herself. She can't talk. She's not vocal. So she's very, I would say, nonverbal. She can't use words. So she'll maybe talk, scream. So based on the sound she makes, that's when we are able to interpret and know whether she's happy, she's sad, she's hungry, there's something which is bothering her, or something like that. Yeah. So it just started this long journey of discovery on what this condition is. Yes.
Okay. All right. So, Pastor Gitonga, you mentioned something about being hyperactive. So, yes. And being with the first son, how did you realize that when the second son came, it was almost the same activity?
Yes. When the second son came also, the birth process and the delivery process was almost the same. And the difference was 2 years, the gap of 2.5 years. So basically, but as they grew together, they were very hyperactive. And a long time, because we'd also delayed to take them to school. Like the first one went at 4 years, because we were to manage it. Because what happens is dyslexia children, they are very smart. They are normal children, very smart, very creative. Their IQ is very high. So basically you can't tell because they do normal things, but beyond the normal. They do extra. They move their ability to function, to deal with the gadgets, their ability to reason and to do things. It's very high. So basically, you can't tell. In fact, unconsciously, you might be very proud. You actually, as a parent, you are proud because they supersede the normal children. Because they are thinking up, their mind moves very fast. Whatever they do, it's a step ahead from the normal peers at any level, any stage. But the other thing also, you have a lot of fights, a lot of issues with the neighborhood, a lot of damages, a lot of small issues that comes with the children. And what is supposed to be normal, it's always beyond the normal, because your case is the damages is a bit high than normal. So that's how you start realizing these kids are somehow different. They're somehow different. And the sleeping patterns is a bit different, because they will say you can even be awake until midnight or until 2. That forces you to be with them. So those are the small things we are discovering. And so to us, we were managing or treating the neural issues of hyperactive.
Sorry, thank you very much for that. So Alex, this is your first child. You get to 6 months, you continue with therapy and all that. What was going on in your mind? I mean, how would you feel? How did you feel towards God at that point?
I would say initially there's a bit of mixed emotions. So the first time, I mean, of course, there's a bit of confusion, because you're wondering, why is this happening to us? And normally, any form of disability comes with a lot of stigma from society, from family, friends, and neighborhood people who don't even know you. They just see you, and they're wondering why is the baby not working? I mean, it's 1 year, it's 2 years, they're not working. So those kind of things. So initially, there's a lot of questions to you ask God, why us? Why what is this happening? And then at some point especially for us, we took a positive note and said, what, she'll outgrow this, because we had a few stories of some children who had been able to gain some functionality. Yes. So we were very optimistic that she could outgrow this probably in a year or 2 of therapy. Maybe she might not talk very well, but maybe she'll talk. She might not walk very well, but she'll walk. So in those initial years, there's a lot of optimism, also with the uncertainty about the future, what it means if this thing continues for longer than that. So in the initial stages, there's I mean, especially for myself, there's a lot of questions I was asking God, why, what, how. Trying to get the meaning, if I can call it that, to get the meaning of this situation, because normally it said children are a blessing from God. So when you try to interpret it with that understanding, and you're seeing the challenges that we are going through, it becomes a bit of a mixed, trying to understand this mystery of God, what direction he wants it to take. So it can be, it was quite challenging on trying to balance those two sides.
Wow. Thank you for that, Alex. So Pastor Gikang'ah, so this time the children come and you're pastoring. Well, how was your view to God at that point of when you saw your children very different?
As a parent, children are a gift, and children are a blessing. So with that understanding, for us at first, it wasn't a big issue, because dyslexia, you can't tell. They are normal children.
Mm-hmm.
See anything, you can't, there's nothing to show. They are totally normal kids. You can't even tell they have issues. The only thing that sometimes would put you in an awkward situation is the hyperactive issues, which is also a disorder. Because basically, for instance, as a pastor and as a family within the neighborhood, you'd always have small cases, a lot of cases, fighting, damages of other children, bikes or toys, those normal things. But to see all this is more aggravated. So you are always, every evening, you are always sorting a few issues here and there. And now there are two of them. You can imagine the kind of issues that you have to deal with in the neighborhood. So because of that, some parents who don't understand may think that your children are indisciplined. So they have that social issue that comes with the neighborhood, thinking our watoto wa mchungaji hawana adabu. One thing. On the other end is also in the church. You know, at level as a pastor, they also congregants expect to see children who are disciplined, who are able to follow order and able to just to follow the norms that comes with their family that presents Christ. So you'll find that sometimes, especially when they were going through the Sunday school classes, their span for sitting down is very short. So within 5-10 minutes, they are done with the class and they are out. So you can imagine the implication that they show the other children and also the Sunday school teachers. Sometimes they would leave their services and go out to play. So those are some of the things that you experience when they are growing up. Therefore, it's just the interaction, it's just the social issues, and they are trying to define their space.
Yes.
Their space is slightly different from the norm. It thinks it's slightly different from the normal children, because they are always 2 or 1 step ahead of the normal children in terms of in terms of their thinking and in terms of concentration. So those are some of the issues that you experience as a parent at that stage. Yes.
All right. So we will actually keep going back to that, the issue of the challenges with it. Yeah. So Alex, you continue, and you have hope. Of course, you have the questions you're saying, you are asking God and all. So 2 years come, you're continuing with therapy. Take us through your journey, maybe how it continued on until now.
Okay, I think as you continue, then you keep learning a lot of information. For me, I did a lot of research. I'm telling you, you look for any cure there is, or any possible cure in this world, because you say, my girl has to walk, and you think maybe this condition was incurable a long time ago, but maybe science has changed. So we did a lot of research, attended a lot of forums here, there. You start studying about diet interventions, how is cerebral palsy similar to autism, because they are both brain conditions. How are they different? You find out about a therapy in India, another one in America, some surgery which helps this and that. So at that point, as a parent, you are doing everything in your hands to be able to find an intervention. At the same time, of course, there's a lot of challenges, because number one, you realize cerebral palsy is not covered by medical insurance. So now you have to dig into your pocket for a lot of the medicines, a lot of the therapy, which you are having to do. And then the more you study, the more now you start interacting with other parents with similar kind of conditions, with children, with similar children, and you find, you know, a 30-year-old cerebral palsy adult or 40-year-old, and now that's where now, you know, it can really shake you, because you're wondering, this journey is not, you know, 5 years, it could be 40 years or more than that. So that becomes a bit of a defining moment. And then the next thing, of course, is there's always a lot of questions from people around you, because they know the girl is 1 year, she's 2 years. So they start asking, you know, is she walking? Is she talking? So sometimes you almost get tired of giving the same update, you know. It's just the way you left her, you know, is she walking now? No, she's not yet talking. Is she talking? Not yet talking. And then, of course, there are those people who try and give you some leads, you know, try this and try that. So that's part of the journey. Others who just probably don't know what to do. There's a lot of people who just disappear from your life, because you know, especially when you're having a disabled child. So maybe some people don't understand how it came about. So maybe, I don't know, they imagine it is some superstition, or it's a curse, or it's, you know, it's contagious. So there are all those things. And I think for me, the most challenging part was when I think she was turning between 3 and 4, because she was still using the stroller as we were moving around, but then she outgrew the stroller. And at that point, we had to buy a wheelchair. So I think for me, up to that point, I had not totally accepted. All those years, up to almost 4 years, I'd always imagined, you know, something will happen, you know, either some intervention, some breakthrough, or some miracle, whatever it is that God will do that, but there'll be some milestone that he'll at least walk. So when she outgrew the stroller, the baby stroller, and now we had to get a wheelchair, I think for me that was the turning point. And that is when I realized that this could be the beginning of a long journey. Because now you see the wheelchair is, you know, a wheelchair is used by really sick people, or by, you know, disabled people who are like that for life. So in my mind, especially the stroller was like a face, but the wheelchair was like the reality check. When we had to shop for one and buy one, I think at that point then, you know, you have to move past the denial and just say, you know, now this thing is here, and this is going to be our life. She might never go to a regular school, she might never walk and talk, but this is it. You know, it is here, life happens, so now this is it. So that has been our journey, if I can try and summarize it from then. But also what we did, especially my wife, she was very good. She accepted, I think, earlier than myself. And we decided, okay, if this is what it is, then we shall be very intentional about giving her the best quality of life possible. And the first step is just to ensure that there's, you know, we don't allow stigma to make us keep our baby girl hidden. So there's a lot of too many cases where you hear, you know, people know a home where there's a disabled child, but that child is never seen. They don't appear at family functions, even when it's at that home. They don't leave the house. Sometimes they don't leave the bedroom, or they don't live upstairs. They don't leave the gate. We say that is not going to be our life, and we shall, as much as is practically possible, be moving around. So we kept going to church. If we need to go out somewhere, or, you know, to the mall, we still do, just so that we try and give her, you know, a very, what do you call it, maybe public life or normal life, close to normal as possible. Yes.
Wow, Alex, that is thank you for sharing that. We will definitely continue with that. Now, James, I want to take you back a little bit. When you talked about you realized completely that there was the boys had needed some attention when they were joining school. What is it that made you know that? Is it the teachers who told you, or what happened at that point?
Yes, you see, as they are growing up, they are becoming unstable in terms of socialization. That is the first thing you start noting, because you are always having issues with other kids. Now time comes for them to go to school, and you know the nursery has no issues. So they joined the nursery, and now they began their normal classwork. So that's the time now the teachers started noting a few things. And of course, even as parents, you would notice, because when they come home with so small assignments, we are trying to enable them to accomplish or to finish their evening assignment. It's a challenge. So now that's how you start to realize that that joy of that as a parent you have, starting dawning there's a problem with the children. So that's how we discovered. And basically now that takes you backward, and you're able now to start doing some research, trying to find what would this be. So through that process, then now a lot of reading, a lot of research, a lot of visiting hospitals, seeing doctors, different doctors, or the issue of neuro doctors, because of course, as you see doctors, you are told is that because of the hyperactive disorder, all these kind of things is a neural issue, and it affects their brain, the left side of the brain. So we go through this process. So that's how the journey began now. So we went through the journey of now testing, and as my brother said, some of these challenges are not covered medically. So basically they become a bit expensive. And because they're not covered, then as a parent, you are the one to dig in your pockets and find resources to be able to go through this, to undertake this test for the children. So that was the journey. So we were able to discover, that's what we discovered. It was a dyslexia. And now, so then what next? So once you have discovered, now it's how to manage it. And how to as parents, first is to accept, because it was not easy for us to accept, but it's a process. And of course, the boys are handsome and they are okay, and you are there as a parent. You realize that you have these children who are okay, but they can't fit in a class. That's the challenge. So through the process of nursery was very easy. Now they have to join from study 1. Now the process of joining study 1, that was the challenge now, because now even the school they were, which is a very nice school, and a private one and a good school, they had issues admitting them. So we had to go to the government. They did a test and they say these children can go to normal schools. So with that letter, and because we had secured the admission, they were able to be admitted. But you see, as they have been admitted to study 1, especially now I'm talking about the big boy, because he's the one who was in study 1. The other one was in nursery. Now that's where the challenge began, because now the 844 system is not conducive for this kind of children. So the long hours for classwork, the kind of the study, the approach to their study, they could not fit. And with all that comes with challenges. Comes with the challenge, in fact, for the child himself, because he's stressed. The work in school is a lot. He can't comprehend. He's a bit slow in learning and grasping what the teachers are taking them through. Then as a parent, you know, you come home, you are trying to help the child finish the homework, the assignment. He's able to finish. The concentration span is small. All those are the normal challenges. So that it just takes you off the balance. So basically for us, it was now, what do? We just started now to do a lot of research work. We studied, we did the Google work, we did all this, and we realized that now this is a permanent situation. It's for us to accept as parents, love our children with the best we can, and then support them. So that's what we did. And as a father, I made a resolution that I would attend the school every week. So as long as they were in school, normal school, I create time to go to school every week just to have a chat and a talk with the class teacher. And now that became a process of now a journey of trying to see how we can better and help this child. Even as the younger one was joining him in class 1, the other one now was in class 3. It was becoming so difficult for them to work with the 844 system. Not tailored they are not able to grasp the cost, the cost and the study and the all that comes with it. So it was the challenge. That was the challenge. And I remember one time the class kept telling us, now they have to keep repeating. They want them to repeat. They want them to repeat. And you see, by this time, the boys also are becoming too much. First of all, they are now starting hating school. Now they are getting low self-esteem in class because they are always not able to read. When it comes to the reading, they are challenged in reading. When it comes to answering and spelling, they are unable to spell. They are unable to write small sentences. Now the self-esteem issues is coming up. No, they are discovering themselves. They are becoming of age, and he feels there's a problem with me. So what happens? So the boy. What will happen normally for a child is that now becoming rude, trying to fight for his space in class. So if a boy challenges him or a girl, he'll try to fight back, just to have a space. So you would understand as a parent, and the teachers would understand. But now it depends on the teachers. You know, in some school where the class teacher will be understanding different subjects with different teachers will come with their own. So it wasn't very easy to meet every time. I have to keep meeting different teachers for different subjects. It was becoming a bit hard, and the boys were not feeling like they want to go to school. So one time when I think Kome, the big boy, was in class 3, one day he just woke up with, as usual, I would prepare them in the morning. So I remember one time he just woke up and he told me that as a dad that I'm not going to school. I'm not going to school, and I don't feel like going to school. That is very early in the morning. I've just prepared. The bus is out waiting. And the house girls tells me the boy is not feeling like going to school. So when I went and talked to him, told me he's not going to school, I just told him that is okay. Just get back to the house and just sleep. And that was it. So they never went back to school again. So now it's for us parents to find a solution for them, because the system and the kind of school they were attending was not addressing their need. So now that's how we were able to transfer them and to look for a special school that deals with children with dyslexia or other challenges. I will always be grateful to the principal of the school they were, because she played a very critical role helping us find the school for them. So where they are now, they are in a school that addresses their need, and they are enjoying it, and they are doing very well.
Yeah.
It hasn't been easy for them, but they were able to fit. And there's like the bigger one now has been able to do year 6, and he did very well. And he was one of the top in the country.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, when you did it year 6, the British system, the new British system, the exam, it was among the top in the country. So you can see that as a parent, when you find a solution for these kids and you address their need and give them moral support and take them through, they are able to excel.
Mm-hmm. Wow, thank you very much, Mr. Pastor Gitonga, for that. We'll get back to you. So, Alex, you've taken us through the journey until now and where the journey of acceptance had to come to, when you even had to buy a wheelchair at that point. So, at that point, what would you say are have you encountered societal pressure? I know you mentioned some at the beginning, but have you encountered, what societal pressure would you tell us you have encountered?
I think the main one, if the moment you have a special needs child, the biggest one is stigma. I think all the other ones are small compared to it, and James will confirm as much. And especially for a condition which is visible, physically visible, you can look and see. Then if someone is on a wheelchair, or they are being helped to move around, being carried. So I'd say the main pressure from society is the stigma, because I can tell you, when you're moving around, people just stare, and you're just we are just pushing a girl on a wheelchair. But wherever we go, as long as we're in public, there are people who will really stare, just look, not say anything. So I think that aspect of stigma, if you don't get used to it, you will get poked many times with people's eyes, because it's a very curious, weird kind of stare, because people don't understand what is going on. I think the other kind of pressure is also, there are people who are well-meaning, like I said before, and they're always asking, for updates. So you almost feel like they are rushing the child, or they think the child is being left behind, because they'll be like, is she talking now? A few months later, is she talking now? 2 years later, is she talking? 5 years later, is she talking? Is she walking? So those kind of queries also. So you want to give a positive update, but maybe the situation has not changed, or there have been other improvements, but not in the areas where that maybe someone would be looking at. And then, of course, once I mean, we're in the process of raising Malaika, so of course you become very attached, because now you are the only ones who really understand her needs. If I can compare those parents who have kids, especially mothers, before the child is verbal, I think from a year and below, it's only the parent, especially the mother, who can be able to tell you that this cry means the baby is hungry, she is wet, she's tired, that kind of thing. So now now for us that is our life. Even at 8.5 years, you still need to interpret those kind of, this is a happy scream, this is a mad scream, and that kind of thing. So and of course I was talking about the attachment. So sometimes you find people asking you, are you taking her to a special school, and that kind of thing. So we've checked around for a few regular and special schools, but in her case, she's fully dependent on someone. Like I said, she cannot sit, she cannot walk by herself, she cannot eat. So you find even if she has to go to school, she has to go with a caregiver. And that is more for the just for interaction, the social growth, because she really won't be learning much. So there's I would say those are some of the pressures, that you come across as people either trying to help or when they don't understand how to respond to this kind of situation. But I would say stigma by far is is the largest. Anyone who walks this journey, you just get used to, need to get used to overcoming that stigma. Otherwise, you might never leave the house.
Would you say, Alex, what about in the place of worship, you know, at church? Is it better? Do you feel more accommodated?
I would say in our church, especially, we feel very accommodated, especially by the pastors and the co-workers and the leadership. They really go out of their way to make the arrangements comfortable, whether it is how you enter, how you go through security, where you sit, and those kind of things. But still, the church members, I mean, there's still people who will, you know, the stare, like I'm telling you, that staring and not saying anything is really the biggest kind of stigma that you'll encounter. Very few people will come up and say hi or ask something. What I like is what children do. When children see something they don't understand, they'll just come up to you and say, "Why is she not working? Why is she on a wheelchair?" And you'll explain to them, and they'll be a bit puzzled, but they'll continue with life because at least they've gotten a response. But adults by far will they'll not ask a question. They'll be very polite. They'll give you space, but they will not say anything. They will just be staring. I think that one is one big challenge for this kind of a condition.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Alex. Pastor James, I know you mentioned a few of the pressures. Do you have what would you say about the societal pressure that you have had, maybe even up to now?
You see, with the dyslexia children, the pressure is more at their lower age. From, let's say, up to the age of 7, 8. That's the crucial moment, because even themselves, they don't understand themselves. So basically, you have to be with them, or when you're not with them, you must leave them with a caregiver. For the hardest time. Why? Is because when they interact with their society, because of their hyperactive nature, they will always find themselves on the wrong side. For instance, I remember, I can name a few of incidents. You find that, like, now within the compound, if you are living in a compound or in an estate where the car parks outside, the probability of them damaging people's cars is very high. So sometimes we would wake up in the morning, or you just come in the evening, and someone left the car in the parking, and the windscreen is damaged, is gone. So you see, now that is a cost. So and sometimes they when it comes to the praying, because of their fastness and their how they do things, they may end up hurting other kids unconsciously. To them, it's a game. To them, it's normal, but they may end up hurting other kids. So basically, those kids have to be taken to the hospital. So of course, those are your bills to take care of. So those are some of the things those are the pressures that you find. The other thing, even as a pastor in the church, some parents don't understand your kids. They think they are indisciplined. They are not okay. For instance, I remember one time as a pastor, and I'm in my office after the service, and this lady comes to their office after the service and tells me that, you know, your son was out. The kids were praying after the Sunday school, and he has hurt my children badly. And this lady goes on to pour his heart in a negative way. And it's not very interesting, and it's not very. Sometimes you have, even as a parent, you feel the pressure of your children being accepted in the community. So those are the fears. Those are the challenges we face. And so for us, like, I remember what I did with my congregation where I served that time. We with the leadership, we decided to have a disability Sunday service. We have people, parents, or anybody with the children who are challenged to come and share. And basically, I had the opportunity to share my experience as a pastor. And that's why people started realizing that among ourselves, we have families with challenged children in different ways. And it's good to accept them and to appreciate them and to also understand their parents and those children. And that was the healing process within the church, within the family of the church. And not my children alone, even other parents who are children. And sometimes some of those parents will not wish to come with them to church because of the stairs my brother is saying there, because of how people will respond. So basically it opened the door, and we began an association there that parents would come with their charity children in different ways. And that's how the church opened. But of course, in the name also, you have to now keep talking to the parents, and so they also understand. And even as a parent, also you must also be closer to your children. And of course, hyperactive nature, they do in extreme way. So basically, they have injured themselves many times. Like my big boy he had broken the jaw, the front of what you call maxio, the front, and it has to be repaired. So all that has gone through the theater and all. It's not that sometimes you are just there as a parent and confused. So they will act themselves. That's the issue. But you see, after 8 years and as they go up, they now start discovering themselves.
Okay,
so
what
we did, we were able to take them through to understand themselves, to know that they are different from the normal children, to appreciate they are challenged, and to understand who they are, so they can own their own life. So basically, we had to take them through the process of understanding themselves, learning to manage their condition themselves, and appreciating themselves. And that one has worked very well for us, because you can imagine at 10, when you are not able to read, when they couldn't read a sentence properly or a story with the other kids, you see it was not very, the self-esteem and self-worth is
yeah. Oh, wow.
So that allowing them to be,
allowing them to know, to be aware of them. Amazing. Okay, so Alex, would you say you've had a lot of support? Is there support out there for the cerebral palsy? Have you had a family out there? Do you have an association that you'd say you have really felt support even from the government?
For cerebral palsy or for any condition, the first thing is that if you need support, you need to look for it, because it's not easy to find it. You need to go out looking for it, because you'll find, like I said, most of the treatments are not covered by medical, cover providers. They're also not covered by NHIF, the ones which are specific to these conditions. So, and then also you need information on people who have gone through this before. So in Kenya, there's a society called the Cerebral Palsy Society of Kenya. It was basically formed by parents who had gone through many hardships, like we had gone through, trying to find assistance and a place where people feel understood. So that parent-led society has been around for 25 years now, and it's one of the primary support groups for children or families with the cerebral palsy condition. Because number one, it provides therapy at a very subsidized cost to its members. It acts like a source of information, because there's a lot of things people will discuss on dietary approaches, on how to handle certain stages or certain conditions or certain problems. that a normal child are very easy, you know, a normal child are very easy to handle, but to a special child, they need so much more, you know, intricacy or complexity which needs to be done. But the most important thing of such groupings is basically the social support, because now you know each other, you're able to interact, especially when we have we normally have an annual Christmas party, but like last year we didn't have it because of some challenges with funds. And anytime we meet or anytime you come to the cerebral palsy office in Donholm, it's a place where there is, you know, it is normal to have cerebral palsy, if I can put it that way. That you know, we are kids with that condition. And the interesting with cerebral palsy is that it manifests itself in so many. So there's no case which is exactly like the other. So there are some who will have challenge with walking, others will have with talking, others will have with stiff muscles, others will have very loose limbs with drooling and all those kind of things, standing, you know. So you find all variants of cerebral palsy, children, all ages, all backgrounds, you know, in for therapy, and it provides a very good support network for parents who are looking for information or encouragement. But from the government side, I would say there is very minimal support in terms of, you know, like getting, you know, subsidies for medicine or getting certain treatments covered and under NHIF. So there's still a lot of improvement that I would say need to be done. Also on the school front, you'll find most schools don't have a special wing, much as the Ministry of Education has tried to, you know, make sure that now schools are integrated. There's no special school and regular school, that all of them, you know, same environment, so that the children with special needs are able to interact with these others, much as their curriculum or form of study might be different, but at least they are within the larger environment of normal childhood. So they feel a lot of improvements. But I would say mostly the parent needs to step out after they've accepted that their child is having whatever they have, to look for that support. And if you look for it, you'll definitely find it, whether locally, whether online or some other place. You'll find lots of information and support for that condition.
Oh, okay. So Pastor James, what is one thing you would tell the society about handling a family with special needs children?
For me, it just, I would wish that families would understand. The key is understand. Why? Because children are gifts. And those gifts comes with different challenges and joy. And no one defines what kind of a gift you wish to have. So you take a gift as it comes. So when those families that have challenged children or special needs children, I will always urge the families just to embrace them, to understand them, and to give them love. Because you see, the couples itself, it goes through emotional challenge or deprived because of the condition of their children. Because for first, without proper understanding or with the society, how the society has treated some of these issues, is, you know, to some, it's a disease, to others is a traditional implication, witchcraft, kind of thing. That, and also, as my brother was saying, that acceptance in the community. So all those things, they are going behind the parents of those children in their mind. So the emotional issues they face, the acceptance they feel, because sometimes even some gathering, they are not able to go. Even some association, they are not able to associate themselves with. Perceptions that they experience. So all these things affect them. So when someone loves them, understands them, love them, embrace them, and always have a positive word towards them, it's a good thing. So for me, to be accepted, because that they go through the fear, even the worry of their children, the guilty that sometimes they have within the community. So all that things affects them. So it's very important as a family to embrace them.
Okay. Thank you so much. Alex, what would you tell the society out there, and what would you tell a family out there who is still at that point of acceptance of the situation of their child?
I think to first to the family is just to say that, the Bible says we are all fearfully and wonderfully made. In fact, I think there's a part of Exodus where God says, I'm the one who creates people, deaf, blind, mute, all of them, I created them. So the first thing is just for the family to know that this is not an accident. It is not, a mistake. This is part of God's design. It might not make sense now, but that's the first thing they need to understand. And if God gives them that responsibility, it means they're able to. His grace is sufficient to allow them to handle it. And then the second thing, I think those children just need a lot of love, because they might have many challenges. You might not be able to communicate with them, but love, even when you show love, even to an animal, it knows that, my owner loves me. So those kids, I think they just need a lot of love so that they're able to overcome whatever challenges they are facing at that point. And you find any parent who gets on this journey, it will either make you stronger or it will break you. There is no two ways. It does not leave you the same. And unfortunately for some, it can become a very strenuous experience, even for the relationship. Lots of relationships, I think there's some data which is showing that up to half of families or couples with a special needs child, their relationship becomes strained. So you can imagine if normal families have strain, what about now these ones who have to spend so much time and resources supporting can imagine like Reverend Gikang'ah, all these expenses, not just of medication, but injuries, damages, cases here and there, caregivers, all those kind of things. So it can be straining on your mentally, on your finances, on your relationships. So they need to be really strong and just go back to the Creator, because that's where the child comes from. And then for society, the main thing I think is just to offer a lot of support, just to be able to help these people who are going through this challenge. Sometimes just needs a phone call to find out how the child is doing, or a visit, or even if you find anyone with any condition you don't understand, like I normally say, just smile and wave. That a lot it breaks a lot of those barriers, because the reason you find people hiding children is because mentally they can't bring themselves to to carry this burden, so they find it easier to hide their problem as it were. So that support in society, in the workplace, to be understanding, because find parents, especially the mothers, have to totally change their work hours or their lifestyle to be able to accommodate this kind of caregiving. And then also just making infrastructure disability friendly, because there are a lot of places like for us would like to go, but when you think about the logistics, us and our wheelchair, we cannot we cannot hack that place. Or some children are sensitive to light or to noise, so there's a lot of things that we need to make considerations when we are going to when we are leaving the house, that, you know, a normal family does not need to make those kind of considerations. So society can make it easier for such families to be able to integrate. Yeah.
Wow. Alex, what is your greatest fear?
I think my greatest fear, like I said, once you learn to take care of such a child, then it becomes so intricate that you don't feel like anyone else can be able to give her the care that you're giving or understand. And I think for me, my greatest fear is what would happen to Malaika if, you know, if something was to happen to us. Would her life continue? Would she receive a good quality care? Because there's a lot of, you know, scary stories about abuse of disabled children or neglect. So for me, I think that is my biggest fear right now.
Wow, wow. And lastly, to Reverend Gikang'ah, what would be your greatest fear? What is your greatest fear?
For me, the greatest fear is for them to finish their studies. You know, the kind of study they undertake and the program are specialized, or they are tailor-made. And it requires some investment and some moral support. So in the absences of the parents, there is a fear who will be willing to step in and go that extra mile to make sure that they acquire their education. Because, you know, with their education and with their life skills, they are able to take care of themselves. So that's the only fear that I might have. But I know, as my brother said, all these things we trust in God, that God will see us through and is able to provide and to take care of us.
Wow, such a deep, deep discussion, I must say, this evening, and we have come to the end of it. And I just want to thank you, Alex and Pastor Gikang'ah, for even finding time, for opening up your life to us. I want to appreciate the mothers to the children and even to the children themselves at this time for just coming and opening up your world to us, for each one of us to get something that I know that you want us to reach out. I may not have a special needs child, but I need to reach out to that parent, not just to look and wonder, but it makes a lot of, it gives you more encouragement when I'm able to come out and just check on you. I remember when we were doing the meetings with you, Alex, you told me even when the child wants something and is not able, you appreciate when someone is able to just go and touch the child, you know. But and I think the society, we fear, but thank you for just putting it open out there for us that we need not fear, but you want us to just experience your world with you. So I really appreciate. Thank you, viewers, for being with us. Me, your host, Pauline. It's always a pleasure. We meet again on Friday at 7:30 to conclude this month's episode on After I Say I Do, the difficult journeys. We'll be telling you the next topic Friday. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Pastor and James. And please pass our love to the family. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you, Pauline. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.